All right, guys. So I just recently sold the cleanest, nicest, most reliable daily driver that I've ever had, my C6 Grand Sport. Now, if you saw the video I posted a few days ago, you'll know that our good friend Freddie LSX is the new owner, and I honestly couldn't think of a better person to own that. But here's the deal. The reason I did that is because I wanted that money to go to a good cause. If you watch the episode that we posted a few days ago, you know about that. Corey Hosford, Kay Hosford, and myself started a nonprofit called Fix It Foundation, which basically is there to help veterans, servicemen and women, and teachers, some people that are qualified that may be having a hard time, and basically we pay for all their automotive repairs, keep them on the road. Now, obviously, I've got to replace that car with a new daily driver. I've been needing something reliable, useful, something that doesn't suck, but something I can count on, and I think I found the perfect vehicle. Only problem is that thing just so happens to be in Arizona. Now, as it turns out, my good buddy Vincent Anatra.
I did not loosen that side wheel.
Just so happened to be going out to Scottsdale this past weekend. I was able to have him go check it out, take a look at it for me. I gave him full authority to either buy this thing or turn around and bail on it if he didn't think it was good. So as it turns out, I do believe Vinny wound up buying it. So we're waiting for him to show up now. We got to get this Mustang running, so I'm going to go give Soupy some shit and see if we can diagnose what the hell's wrong with it.
My favorite thing to do when I'm on the road is to always look for cars to buy. But I don't always want to buy a new car or buy another car. So one of the best things that can happen is when you're going somewhere and your friend needs you to buy a car. So after we did the video on my channel with Zach C6, he told me that he was getting rid of it and he was really bummed out, but he wanted to find a good replacement for a daily driver. So I've been trying to convince him to get one of these, and he finally gave in. And when I'm buying a used car, I have some criteria, and it's basically what's not going to lose a lot of value, what's not overvalued right now, and something I'm never going to have to work on. But most importantly is kind of number one, which is stuff that's not going to lose any value. So what I picked up is what I feel to be one of the smartest purchases anyone can ever buy, because you could pack miles on it, there's not a whole lot of maintenance to do, and they hardly ever lose value. Which is the reason why I have owned 7 of these, which means this one is the 8th one I've ever bought. And that's kind of insane, but I guess it almost makes me an expert. Or maybe you need to have 25 before you're considered an expert. I don't know what the saying is, but I know these things inside and out, and I know how to look for a good deal on a car. But the hard part about buying a car for a friend when it's pretty old and has a lot of miles is it's not going to be perfect. Zach has pretty high standards and is a bit of a hard ass if you haven't figured that out.
Wrong drawer, another beer.
You know, this thing we bought is 10 years old and has some miles on it. It's definitely not perfect, so I hope he's happy with it. I think it was a really good deal. Like I said, I've bought a lot of these, and if you know me, you probably figured out what it is by now, but these are really hard to come by, and the spec that we got is incredibly hard to come by, really rare for this year. So I think it's a really good buy, but let's go grab him and see what he thinks. The boys are working on Ron's Mustang, but I snuck in the back because I didn't want to blow it. I want Zach to come see it, so I parked it blocking the entire parking lot because, you know, you got to get a grain reveal. What's up, boys?
Oh, what up, Vinny?
Oh my God. Long trip back from Scottsdale, and I come back and you're still not done with this thing. If you can't get it running and Soupy's here, that's rough. Yeah, that's a problem.
We'll get it running.
Yeah, I see all the smoke.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's a Ford, okay? You got to clear it out a little bit. You know, it's been sitting for like 56 years.
Spoken like a big Chevy guy. But yeah, I mean, Ron hasn't driven this thing in years, so, you know, he deserves it. He deserves it.
I drove it a year ago. I did burnouts last year. Was that last year?
Ron lived in dog years.
All right, so while these guys get a new map sensor for this to try to, I don't know, troubleshoot, Vinny?
Yo, don't go outside yet. So I parked your truck like a complete jerk because I wanted a nice grain reveal.
Okay.
But it's in the middle of the parking lot, and I'm sure people are gonna want to leave. So you want me to blindfold you?
Yeah, actually, here, you know what? You hold this.
Damn, you're showing them right now.
Yeah,
Hang on.
all
All right, you saw it. Come on, let's go check it out.
Oh, honestly, that's way better paint than I expected it to be.
I know these cars really well, and this spec is super rare, super hard to find. I knew that already for the price of what we were paying. It was a good deal. My worry was like, it has high miles, so it's not perfect. I'll walk you around what's not perfect on it.
Okay.
But it's cool, it's in good shape, it drives good, and the price was like incredible.
You know what, and I did a little investigation, by the way, like on the Carfax, you can actually see that this thing was going back and forth from Arizona and Huntington Beach, oddly enough, all the way to Chicago. It was getting serviced at a Ford dealer, and it was getting re-registered every year in Illinois.
Yeah, because for me, it's like high mileage is fine if the thing was maintained, especially if it's like highway miles. And we'll talk a little bit more about it when we tell them what it is.
Vinny's had like 8 or 9 of these, and
How much
probably
is
by
7?
by the time this video comes out, he'll have 16 already, and he'll have bought and sold that many of these things.
Oh, well, okay, so I started to mention this one on my drive back, but the reason why I've bought and sold a lot of these is because I buy them, and I quickly am like, I don't love it, I'm gonna get something else. I get something else, and I'm quickly like, I miss it. I still love you. That's the only thing that's good. I've done that a bunch of times, but I've bought and sold all of these. I've never spent $1 owning one of them because they don't depreciate. Doug DeMuro, the guy, said that you can't afford to not own one of these.
And it is the best used pickup you can buy if you want to save your money.
Okay, that's a good sales pitch right there. You want to show them it?
Yeah.
So,
2014 Ford Raptor Gen-1 Super Cab, which is the coolest one because look at the proportions of this thing. Ridiculous. It is almost as long as it is wide. It's so cool.
perfect. You know, I'm a really big fan of usually two-door SUVs because they have like a box shape. It's almost like, you know, perfect rectangle size.
And let's be real, this thing really fits your vibe because it's got a 6.2 liter naturally aspirated V8.
Yeah,
that makes like, you know, 3 horsepower, but still.
That's all right. You know, here's the deal. I couldn't go 6-banger because I just can't do it. I can't deal with that.
I had one of those too. They're absolutely horrible. The Gen-1 is so reliable. It's such a reliable truck. Not fast, but it's like quick enough. And the thing I like about these is it is actually a 4-door. And the back seat is honestly big enough for adults. And the coolest thing is this window actually goes down. I owned one of these. This is my first Raptor. It was a Super Cab, and I've always wanted another one. So this is sick. I love the Super Cab. I think they look so much more unique too.
It's actually way bigger than I thought it was going to be in the back.
Yeah, like adults could sit back there. It's fine.
Nice. There's no way I could fit a 4-door in my parking spot at my condo.
Look, I'll be real. The 4-door is so big that a lot of times, like, I don't even need that big of a back seat.
Oh yeah, crusty old engine. Let's go. Buying this, I needed something that I would not mess with. We're gonna keep it stock.
Why the f you lying?
You're giving me shit about this?
I 1000% do not believe that, but like suspension upgrades and stuff is fine. But honestly, like I told Zach, the cool thing about the truck is that it's great as is stock. Unless you put a blower on it, which isn't really worth it. There's nothing you can do to really screw with it mechanically. So you could leave this mostly like mechanically stock.
Yeah.
Stop f***ing lying.
Look, I've not had a vehicle that I didn't just absolutely ruin within the first month. So like I needed something that I could kind of rely on and that I won't. And I feel like I won't probably ruin this.
False.
It's not as easy as like a GM where you just throw a hog ass cam in it and do all the valve training and all that. This has what, almost 90,000 on it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Typically, I would not buy something with this high of mileage, but Mr. Vinny here and a couple other people I've talked to are like, dude, I know some people that have had like 350K on these things.
Yeah, these things are stout. So I'm not a big high mileage person either, but these trucks are known to go for like 300,000-400,000 miles on stock engine, stock transmission. So I was like, hey man, what you're buying right now, do you want to tell me what you paid for it?
Yeah, I mean, look,
so
like
what you're buying right
16K,
now,
right?
half the price of a low mileage truck. 80,000 miles on it, it would be 30,000 bucks. For a $15,000 discount, you got another 100K on it.
Is everything all clapped out on it?
No,
Like,
it's pretty good. Like these things, they're made to be smashed on off-road. So suspension parts are pretty robust. Like I think he took the sway bar end links off the front. So it's kind of like A little,
Oh, sketchy?
a little floaty in the front, but it rides pretty smooth. The shocks on these trucks do go bad. These ones feel like fine. He said he rebuilt them, but who knows. For me, like the overall, it's like the paint's in good shape. I mean, tires are a little bit more shot than he had said, so
yeah, but you know,
might need some front tires.
it's all right. Probably. Hey, Adrian, what's happening, dog? Get it, your boy.
The window tint looks really cool. Is absolutely horrible at night, so be prepared.
I was gonna say it looks is dark or darker than the paint itself. Is this like 1%?
Dude, at night it is pitch black.
Amazing, perfect. I mean, I see it's got like, you know, not obviously this was to be expected. You know, it's got some scratches.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, look, to be honest, black, I absolutely hate owning black cars because they look really nice, but they're really hard to keep clean.
Yo,
especially here in California where it's so dusty. So it's got swirls, it's got scratches, but our boy Gustavo could take care of that pretty easy.
We'll hit Gustavo up. Shout out to DBG Detailing. He's the reason why my vet was so clean. By the way, these shocks look, these rears have definitely not been rebuilt.
No.
I mean, it's got a little bit, I mean, I can see a little rust damage on it. I mean, I guess that's to be expected, but you know,
Yeah, so he had said that this truck lived very briefly up in Illinois, so it has a little bit of surface rust, but spent most of its time in California and in Arizona, so it's solid all the way through. Little surface rust here and there ain't gonna kill you. It's got some real bead locks, but otherwise it's 100% stock. So it's got stock exhaust, full stock suspension. It's raised up on the mid perch on the front, or the top perch actually. That's why it's so high on the front. So these shocks look kind of crusty too.
Yeah, those look pretty roached out.
You know, maybe get a set of massive 4 bypass 4.0s to go jump this thing off a cliff.
I'm trying to keep it stock, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I mean, it definitely, like, the suspension has to be decent because, like, it just sucks driving a truck with clapped out anything.
Yeah, no, it doesn't feel clapped out at all. But the nice part is you got a 2013, 2014. So you got projector headlights, which are really good.
It's a little hazy, but you know,
you
pretty
can polish
sure
those up, or you could buy new lenses off eBay and swap them.
Ooh,
easy trick. And other than that, wheels, tires, tint. That's it. Bone stock.
Should we go take it for a ride? See how
yeah, I'm curious to see what you think about it. Well, what do you think overall? You think?
I mean, honestly,
condition-wise, are you happy with what I purchased?
I mean, yeah, I'm actually stoked on this. Vinny is the only person in the world that I trust to be like, here's a bunch of cash. You can make the decision on the car. So
mainly because I know that Zach will yell at me for years to come. So I'm not willing to put myself through that. So I knew I had to get you something good.
But you know what? Honestly, like I knew that you know these things inside and out. And so I was like, you know what? He's not gonna. You know,
I only want to make sure that you get a nice truck. Like I wouldn't buy a piece of shit because there are plenty of these. Although finding the super cab, we've been looking for one for a while now.
Yeah. So trying to find a super cab on the West Coast, everybody's asking like a lot more
crazy money.
Yeah, I mean, the cheapest one I could find other than this was like 26, 27, and they had nearly the same amount of miles. I mean, like upwards 140, 150. So it was like, let's just check this one out and see how it is. And then worst case scenario, you know, if the engine or trans goes, then we just go full tilt with it and, you know, rebuild the gods.
All right. Zach in a practical car. Look at this. I know, right? Oh my God. You don't know how to get out of here.
No, I can't get out of here.
My bad, I parked there. You know, I shouldn't be parked there. You gotta go all the way around. This is where you gotta get used to with driving a big old truck.
I have to say, the tint on this, it is the middle of the day, and it's like really nice and dark in here.
The tint is perfect for daytime. But the second the sun drops, you cannot, like, it's dangerous. You straight up can't see out of any side or the front.
Oh, dude, we got air conditioned seats. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, dude.
How does the AC work? Is it good?
It's great.
Okay.
Yeah, the AC rips. The one thing that bums me out about Raptors, and if anyone out there has a solution for this, and potentially even wants to hook up me and Zach, the radio, even at full blast, sounds like any other car at like volume 8.
Really?
It's not loud.
Anything is better than trying to listen to anything in any of my other cars. It's so quiet.
But yeah, this thing drives nice.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It gets decent gas mileage too. On the way back,
I see we're averaging 11.9. That's good. That's double
that was because
digits.
I was in traffic for a while, but on the freeway it was doing like 14.
Really? More than triple with my big block kids. So it's a win.
Yeah, we moved away from feet.
Yes.
We're now talking miles.
We don't measure fuel in time.
But yeah, the one thing I think with these trucks to know is to like not really overdo it, because there's a fine line where pretty much everything you put on it makes it worse.
Where's that line?
Any sort of control arm that has poly bushings and any sort of bypasses that make noise.
Well, like I said, I needed something that I could keep kind of stock, or at least would not be crazy tempted to.
But for a truck with nearly 200K, this thing drives nice.
I mean, we haven't really gone too far yet, but I'll take your word for it.
See, I forgot that because I had just driven it like 600 miles, but it drove nice.
Nice, well, that's a good
Yeah.
sign. I mean, hey, it didn't break down today. You know, that's always like the true test. It's like, can you just go and just hot road trip it without inspecting anything?
Funny thing is, I bought 4 Raptors from Arizona and drove them back. Every time you buy a truck and then you're driving through the middle of the desert for like 3 hours by yourself, you're like, I sure hope this thing doesn't break down.
Was this a good idea?
Yeah, I sure hope this thing doesn't overheat randomly.
Look, anything is better than going on a trip across the country with Scotto and then him randomly springing on you that we're gonna go buy a car sight unseen. And oh yeah, it doesn't have a roof. And oh yeah, we gotta get this thing back somehow.
You don't have a top. You pack ponchos.
That's my breaking point.
Yeah, but this thing is cool because like you could daily drive these things real nice, eats up bumps, and then if you want to take it to the desert, even in stock form, they rip.
Really?
You could really mob stuff in this and you don't feel too bad about it. I've only jumped mine on like very small jumps that you can like go far on. The lift ones scare me because I never know how to judge how fast to go.
Yeah, and after you've seen enough people wad up their cars or Can-Ams. Ooh!
We had too much experience at Hoonigan absolutely destroying Can-Ams. All of us are on-road people, and we didn't understand what happens when the rear suspension compresses and then kicks.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, we flipped many of Can-Am.
Many.
Best thing about owning this truck was that you just did like 50 miles an hour over train tracks in the Corvette. That thing would have been total.
Did we?
Yeah, you didn't even notice.
Oh.
Dude, dailying a truck rules for that reason.
That is tight, because the one thing that sucks about Los Angeles is like all through LA, there's just potholes and just shitty roads everywhere.
The roads here suck. Driving a truck every day rules.
Yeah, this is tight. I feel like this is gonna open up a whole new level of driving, like where I can just like drive over stuff when there's traffic and just not have to deal with it. Or
Yeah,
like,
and also you get so many more friends who need to borrow your truck or you to haul stuff for them.
if you're a friend and watching this, you can go right now. No.
That's the only reason why I had Zach buy a truck, because I was like, this way he won't ever ask me to borrow my truck.
Dude, this thing isn't bad. Like, it drives good, man. Like,
It's not, dude, I'm telling you, if you didn't know that this thing had as many miles on it, you would not be able to tell.
I was fully expecting the transmission to at least clunk a little bit, and it's like buttery smooth. It feels tight. Everything feels decent on it. Decent. Well, dude, I appreciate you going out of your way.
Yeah.
600 miles to get this.
Well, I was already there, so
Well-
this is a drive back. It like quenched a thirst where I didn't have to spend money, so it was great.
Nice. I guess you guys will see more of this in content. These guys seem to think that I'm gonna ruin this thing almost immediately. We'll see how long it lasts.
Well, if you need to do any testing before ruining it, we should go do an off-road day together, so that when you do crazier stuff to it, we can be like, oh, it was worth it.
You wanna go to Mexico?
Let's go right now.